without me.
I could stick around and get along with you. Hello, oh, oh, oh. It doesn't really mean that I'm into you. Hello, oh, oh, oh. You're alright, but I'm your darling to enjoy the party. Yeah, I think you're cute, but really you should know. I just came to say hello.
Okay, guys, he's not here yet. We have to start the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to You Make the Call, Student Television's one and only sports talk and debate show. I'm your host, Andy Reeves, and with me this evening, I have a very exciting panel, a lot of very exciting topics to talk about. We've got a lot of basketball to cover, All-Star Weekend this past weekend, also some Carolina stuff. We're coming down the stretch in the NCAA basketball season. But before we get to any of that, I want to introduce my co-host for the evening. To my right, we have Mike Rodriguez back on the program with us. Mike, great to have you back. And Ryan Davis back for the billionth week in a row. Great to have you back as well. Okay, guys, let's jump right in. All-Star Weekend was this weekend, and I think it's best to go and start with the big game. Sunday night, the All-Star game. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I didn't watch it, but I enjoyed reading about it. I think that it was, as all All-Star games are, there wasn't really a lot of intense gamesmanship or one-upsmanship in the game, but things were still going strong in the fourth quarter. Players playing hard, Kobe breaking his nose, which apparently we're going to get to later. But it was a typical All-Star game, but you see that big comeback from the East. They were down 20 points at the start of the fourth quarter or something like that. So, I think that despite low ratings, it was kind of what you expect from the All-Star game.
I think we might be the least informed panel this year so far because I didn't watch it either, and I don't really care.
It's kind of telling.
I don't care. I mean, like Ryan said, the lowest ratings in a while, and it's no defense. I was actually surprised there were 4 block shots, which shows that there was some semblance of defense. And they were all on the Eastern Conference side, so we all know who had their priorities straight, the Eastern Conference there. But yeah, I really just don't care.
Well, guys, one thing about the game that was interesting is that Kevin Durant and LeBron James tied for the scoring lead in this game with 36 points apiece, seemed to be going mano-a-mano. LeBron even performing well in the fourth quarter, not something we're accustomed to seeing.
Oh, jeez.
Was that sort of a finals preview there? Do you think there was any extra juice going between those two guys because they're the top 2 teams in the league?
I think more because they're 2 of the top scorers and 2 of the top players in the league is more than anything else. They're trying to show each other up, maybe going bucket for bucket. Not as much because of their teams may be there again, but I think that could be a finals preview. Obviously, Oklahoma City and the Heat, 2 of the best teams in the league, maybe the best team in each conference. So if that's what we get to see in the finals, if those teams make it, if we get to see LeBron and Durant going back-to-back and guarding each other and everything, that would be pretty exciting basketball.
Probably have Westbrook and Wade guarding each other. And
Oklahoma City just has to worry that Russell Westbrook decides not to be the #1 man in Oklahoma City and take all those shots away from Durant. So, but definitely, I mean, if LeBron and Durant go back and forth in the NBA Finals, of course, that's going to be great. I mean, I think the Eastern Conference is really between the Heat and the Bulls, and I think the West, it's really anybody's ball game. But yeah, if those two teams end up making it, that'd be pretty fantastic.
So, I guess on the whole, largely boring game, but those 2 guys going mano-a-mano.
Oh, yeah, that's
something we'd love to see come
fun.
June. Okay, guys, moving on to the Rising Stars game. I think this was the most interesting part of the weekend, personally. Who impressed you? This is a chance for us to see some of the younger guys, for them to showcase their talents. Who took advantage of that?
Can we say anyone other than Kyrie Irving? He had 34 points and was 8 for 8 from 3. That's ridiculous. I think he said after the game that he was really disappointed that it came in the All-Star game where he's making all these threes. But, I mean, he's got a ton of talent and is clearly one of the players that comprises the future of the NBA. It's just sad that we don't get to see Cleveland very often like we did when LeBron was there. But Yeah, I think Kyrie really ran away with this game, although on SportsCenter, most of the highlights involve John Wall.
Yeah.
But
Oh, no, definitely. Kyrie Irving, I mean, he's bringing, some sort of relevance back to Cleveland since LeBron. But, yeah, I mean, Kyrie Irving, it's always fun to see Shaq and Charles Barkley also. They were the coaches / general managers. But, yeah, I couldn't agree more. 8 for 8 from threes. He showed that he can do a little bit of everything in this game. And it was definitely the best game to watch over the weekend.
Yeah, awfully tough to go with anybody else there.
Yeah.
Even Blake Griffin couldn't live up to what Kyrie was putting out that night. Any doubt in your guys' minds that he's Rookie of the Year so far in the NBA?
so far, yeah, it's got to be Kyrie.
I can't think of anybody off the top of my head that
Yeah, I
would
mean,
beat
I
him.
think, even Ricky Rubio, not quite on that same level as Kyrie.
Jeremy Lin, maybe. Just say it, Jeremy Lin.
But he's technically been in the
that's
league
true,
for a
that's true.
year.
I
Yeah,
forgot. Yes,
most
you're right.
improved, he might have a lock
There you
on
go.
though.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know about. Speaking of Jeremy Lin, who underwhelmed you in the Rising Stars Challenge?
Well, Jeremy Lin only got 8 minutes, which is kind of ridiculous. That the guy that everyone's been talking about for 2 or 3 weeks now. I saw today that over the past week, there were more mentions of Jeremy Lin's name than of college basketball as a whole. So Jeremy Lin has really been the story in America, not just for sports, but for everyone. And he gets 8 minutes in the game. I think the fans that were there were probably pretty disappointed. But as with only 8 minutes, he scores 2 points. I guess he's my pick for underwhelming player of the game.
I think a big thing with Jeremy Lin, though, is, he got just, pushed into this role as the starting point guard for the New York Knicks. And, that really, he's tired. I think he was tired. He was exhausted. And they wanted to put him out there for the fans and eventually just took him out to give him a rest.
He was a late addition.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that Kemba Walker, he didn't do too much for me. I think he went 2 for 10 from three-point range. He was trying to prove that he could shoot the three and then kind of went backwards on him. And, that was really disappointing to see.
And Kemba, as the only Bobcats representative for the entire weekend, a lot on his shoulders, and he did not deliver. But back to Jeremy Lin for just a second. What are you guys expecting from him in the second half of the season?
I'm expecting him to regress a little bit, but I don't think he's going to go away. I think he's going to be the starting point guard for the Knicks for this year and for the future. I think he's going to be a good player, maybe top 15, top 20 point guard in the league, but I don't think he is ever going to be a top 5 point guard in the league. I think he's kind of played above or about at the ceiling of his potential, where, he might have games once a week or once every 10 games or so, like the ones he's been putting up. I don't see him continuing to average 20-plus points and almost 10 assists per game. I think the Heat showed that if teams focus on him enough, they can take him out of the game. But then the question is, what do you do with Carmelo and Amari if you're doubling on Jeremy Lin all game?
I think he needs to stay in New York if he wants to be successful, or at least stay with Mark D'Antoni, because I think his system is a real point guard system, where he can shine. And, I mean, he kind of proved he didn't shine in Golden State. He didn't shine in Houston. He didn't play in Houston, but it was one of those deals where it just kind of took away from he obviously didn't show anything with those two teams, and I honestly think if he stays with Mark D'Antoni and if Mark D'Antoni stays with the Knicks, that's where he needs to be.
Yeah, that's a good point about the system, because you think about a guy like Raymond Felton. It's a very good example showing how that benefits the point guard. When he was in New York, he looked like a top-tier point guard.
Absolutely.
Since then, he's been okay.
He hasn't
been bad.
Yeah.
But he has not been anywhere
No.
near the same player. I mean, this was a guy that was, a top 10 maybe point guard in the league when he was in New York.
And Mike D'Antoni even made Chris Duhon look good for a little bit. So,
Yes.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Okay.